Siddhanta alas jan anartha tu chadina jade Krishna brahmi kari Krishna seva karina. Which means that Siddhanta alajan, anartha tu chadina. For those who are lazy in understanding the Siddhanta, they will not be able to give up their anarthas. It'll be impossible for them to give up their anarthas. Siddhanta alajan, anartha tu chadina. Why they can't give up their anarthas? Why can't they give up these anarthas? The answer is very simple. Jadi Krishna Brahma Kari, because they think Krishna is an object of this material world. They try to enjoy mundane mellows with Krishna. Because they think that Krishna is meant for their enjoyment. Jadi Krishna Brahma Kari, Krishna Seva Karina. Because they think that Krishna is an object of their senses. Because they think Krishna is something of this material world meant for their enjoyment. They actually think they'll share in Krishna's happiness. They'll share, they'll make Krishna as part of their whole enjoyment field. They're going to let Krishna. That's why there's another famous person who's considered to be a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. But their songs were like Esho Esho, come Krishna, come to me and enjoy with me. They say Esho Esho, come to me. And some foolish people actually name their disciples after such a person who is speaking Apasiddhanta. But they say, Esho, come Krishna, come, come enjoy with me, come. But that is exactly contrary to the principles laid down by Rupa Goswami. Namaste Gauravani Shrimute Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. Which means that we offer a respectful obeisances, Namaste Gauravani, Shrimute Dinatarine, to that personality who is Namaste Gauravani, Shrimute Dinatarine, who is a very embodiment of Gauravani, who is a very embodiment of Lord Chaitanya's teachings. Namaste Gauravani, Shrimute Dinatarine. What is his symptom? What does he do? Rupa Nuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. He does not stand any statement which is contrary to that laid down by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. So, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, more than any Acharya, has explained this Drik Drishya Vichar more than anything else. So, what is this Drik Drishya Vichar? So, when a person is seeing, when a person is in front of something, there are three things going on. There's the person who's seeing, he's known as a seer. There's a sense of sight, which is seeing, and there's the object which is seen. So, there's the seer, the sight, and the seen. So, to the degree that a person understands, what is a seer, what is seeing, and what is to be seen, to that degree, one actually understands what devotional service is. And to the degree that a person misapplies this principle of not understanding who's a seer, what is to be seen, and what is sight, to that degree, they actually have a misconception of what real Bhakti Siddhanta is. They have a misconception of what loving service is. Because when they come and they stand, in the front, they look at Krishna, wow, okay, it's very beautiful, very nice, and they look at Krishna for their sense gratification. But when a person enters the temple, one must not think, I have come to see Krishna, but one should think that Krishna, I'm coming in front of Krishna so he can see me. Once Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had entered one of the temples, and he was standing there, and he took off his glasses. He took off his glasses and he was standing in the back. So his disciples told him, Guru Maharaj, would you please, would you like to go in the front and take darshan of the deities? He says, actually, no. Well, who am I to take darshan of the deities? I'm coming there so the deities can actually, I can be seen by the deities. I'm not there to examine the deities. The deities are here to examine me. And the degree that we understand this Drik Drishya Vichar, to that degree, we can actually make a whole lot of spiritual advancement. The more we understand that the kirtan is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, that our book distribution service is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, our cooking is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, our cleaning, our doing, everything that we do is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, and that we are to be seen by Krishna, and rather we are not the seers of Krishna. To that degree, we can actually understand who is a seer and who is a saint. Because if we don't understand this point, it is just a matter of time until we become Prakrita Sahajas. Because, there's very, very popular festivals, in many temples around the world. unfortunately, where there's a lot of flowers thrown on the deity, and those same flowers are thrown around too. Again, they take the same flowers, throw it on the floor, and all the devotees start doing like this hippie dance thing, and they start throwing all these flowers around and try to enjoy and, have a good time. But, not realizing that they're stamping on the Mahaprasadam of the Supreme Lord. They're disrespecting the Supreme Lord by doing so. And then when we went and we questioned one of these people, the answer is, doesn't the Lord want us to enjoy? They'll even quote the Bhagavad Gita. They'll say, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmam, Susakam Kartamavyam. The Supreme Lord wants you to enjoy devotional service. He wants you to enjoy devotional service. But what is our enjoyment? Our enjoyment is Krishna's enjoyment. It's not that we enjoy separately from Krishna and we do it in front of Krishna for him to see us and get pleasure from this. It doesn't work like this. Because we are actually trying to take upon devotional service, and our goal is to reach this level of Raga Nuga Bhakti, which is actually completely based upon the real, genuine sentiments of the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord towards them. So it's an idea of heart over head. So the whole devotional service is the idea of heart over head, that you actually, you understand is based on transcendental feelings that a pure devotee feels for Krishna. It's meant, all these transcendental feelings, give pleasure to Krishna, and it's a nice, loving exchange. But what do we do when our heart is filled with anarthas and disgusting things? What do we do? The problem actually becomes when we take our heart full of material desires and put it over what our acharyas are telling us, and we pull Krishna consciousness and Krishna down to this material platform. That is the definition of Prakriti Sahajya. Sahajya means one who is very natural. They very naturally feel something. They naturally feel something about either mundane subject matters or spiritual subject matters. They feel. Yeah, Sahajay Pagal. No, it's Sahajay Pagal. Sahajay means always crazy. Naturally, he's Avadut. Yeah, he's naturally Pagal. Yeah. Nityananda Prabhu is known as Sahajay Pagal. He's known as someone who's just by nature, he's absolutely mad in love for Krishna. Absolutely mad in love for Krishna. He's so crazy. He's completely, crazily absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and he'll do all the most far out things that we can imagine to spread Krishna consciousness. Sahajay Pagal, But if we take our mundane sentiments and our mundane emotions and translate them into being transcendental, then at that point of time, we will be afflicted by more and more material desires. Because the very definition of Prakriti Sahajya is they actually do something which is very natural to their heart. They naturally feel from their heart. They feel from their heart to, they go to like, the Bhagavad Saptas, and they're crying, and there's like all these emotions, just of pure love and all these things. And then they go home, and then they turn on their TV and they see like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie on the TV, and they're all crying and all these feelings are going on. But it's completely bogus. Their feelings and their crying for Krishna is completely coming off the mundane platform. Because they are thinking that here I am to enjoy Krishna. Here I am to enjoy the Ras Leela. Here I am to enjoy the food. Here I am to enjoy all these things. But one of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples, Ananta Vasudev, right? Ananta Vasudev Prabhu, he was once, they were all serving out this ecstatic feast. And then in the feast, a really amazing feast, I'm forgetting what the name of that sweet is. Anyway, something like a jalebi, maybe a jangri. But anyway, they were serving out this ecstatic sweet, and they served out the sweet to a person who's known as a great Shastri. Shastri means a very, very great scholar and all these things, So Ananta Vasudev Prabhu went up to this person and told him, my dear Shastri, please do vichar karena. You please do this vichar. Are you eating this jangri, or is the jangri eating you? Please, you think about this and you tell me. You think about this and you tell me. And this person got very offended, and later on he wrote he wrote a mail. Nowadays we write emails. But he wrote a letter to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where he's saying that, I'm such a great Shastri. Prabhu, do you think you can find it here? Yeah, it's in here for sure. It's page number 173 is when the section begins. But I plan on reading it, but I couldn't. So, you know where it is. Yeah, you can find it if. Yeah, page number 173 onwards, you can look at that. So in this, he tells him, my dear Shastri, karo vichar, do this. Pandita tumi Shastri, Pandita tumi karo vichar. You're a great pandit. You're a great pandit. Karo vichar. Think about it. Are you eating this prasadam or is this prasadam eating you? Found it? Okay. 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 One day, a renowned professor came to the Gaudiya printing verse to meet Srila Siddhanta. Okay, this is another one. I want to get into the other one, but this is really exciting. I forgot about this one. Gaudiya works to meet Srila Saraswati Thakur, who was sitting there expounding Harikatha to his disciples. In course of conversation, the professor related that he had recited the Gita before Bhaktivinoda Thakur and was well acquainted with him and some of his children. Srila Saraswati Thakur immediately retorted, you never saw Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Sorry, you never saw Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You were never in his presence. The shocked professor replied, for so many years I discoursed with him at Rama Bhagan, and you're not accepting this? I'm elder to you. I even know all of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's children. Saraswati Thakur became aroused and manifested his intrinsic nature as a lion acharya. So, what is the translation for lion acharya? I know you know, Vishnu. What? Huh? Yes, Acharya Keshari. Many people think it's Simha Guru, but it's not. It's Acharya Keshari. Far from reciting Gita, he says, far from reciting the Gita to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you were never able to see him. No mere professor can see Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In our conception, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had no children. He was not a product of this material world. Bhaktivinoda Thakur keeps himself hidden from those who think they are seeing him. Bhaktivinoda Thakur reveals himself to one who understands that he is to be seen by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this is the understanding that we are coming in front of the acharyas not to see them but to be seen by them. Why do we read out our book scores every morning? Is it to show off I'm so great? So just check me out. No. It is for us to make our humble attempt, our humble offering unto the Supreme Lord. What is 7,000 books for Krishna? What is it? If Krishna wants, every living entity can have 5 sets of Bhagavatams and Chaitanya Charitamritas and all the other books that Acharyas are, if Krishna wants. But it's our Acharya's mercy. If Srila Prabhupada wanted, everyone in this world would have already had books. If my own spiritual master wanted, he had already distributed all these Bhagavatams to everyone else. But he's giving us the opportunity. That is a symptom of an Acharya, that he's giving some service for us to do. So we have to understand it like that. The scholar was dumbstruck by the stinging analysis and could not grasp its deep import. Upon leaving, he commented to Srila Saraswati, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, never did I go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, never did I see him. My opinion is different from your proud words. He had some affection for me and never let me leave without feeding me. He said so many confidential things to me. You sometimes saw that yourself. Bhakti Siddhanta was there. I am extremely aggrieved on hearing such unpleasant words from a sadhu like yourself. Not concerned that such a reputed and learned person was leaving in a huff, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati remained unhesitant in speaking the truth and further declared, as long as you have such mundane vision, you cannot see Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Become fixed in seeing yourself as an object of his sight. So now this is what I was talking about. During a Gaudiya Math festival, a Shastri known for being fond of good food was sitting for prasad. While he was relishing the opulence, malpuya, that's what it is. Okay, I guess in Bengali it's called malpua. Relishing the opulent sweet called malpua, Ananta Vasudeva Prabhu addressed him, Shastri. Consider whether you're eating the malpuya or the malpuya is eating you. Pandita hane kine na karaha vichar. Are you using that? Pandita hane kina na karaha vichar. Being a scholar, why don't you judge this matter? To maintain proper consciousness while taking prasad, Vaishnavas say sadhu savdhan and recite the song of Bhaktivinoda. What's the song? That's right. Sharirara Vidyajal Jyodindrihatayika. Not catching Vasudeva Prabhu's point, the Shastri became provoked, and on returning to his place, he wrote an extensive letter to Srila Saraswati Thakur. He says, I went to the festival at the mutt, yet while taking prasad, I became disturbed at heart. I'm not a poor man. I'm getting a pension from the government. My 2 sons are earning well. My wife is most expert at preparing delicious varieties of foods. I have eaten plenty of malpuya. I did not come to the mutt to gorge, Malpua, sorry. I did not come to the mutt to gorge on Malpua. But your disciple Ananda Vasudeva said to me, are you eating the Malpua, or is the Malpua eating you? Hearing that, I became doleful. Am I so greedy that the Malpua would eat me? Still did not understand. On reading this, Srila Saraswati Thakur commented to his disciples and attendants, can the learned people of this world comprehend Vasudeva's question? Even among us, are there more than a few persons who can grasp it? It is not within the ability of humankind to appreciate these matters. Only by Krishna's mercy can all this be realized. A reply was sent to the Shastri conveying the real meaning of Vasudeva Prabhu's words. It is not fitting that we eat the prasad of the Lord. That is, we measure it. If the prasad enjoys us, eats us, making us its own, then we will conquer our matter. That will be to our benefit. The meaning of prasad is favor or mercy. The remnant of a Vaishnava prasad are called Maha Prasad. The Bhagavatam states, Tyavok bhukta shaghanda vaso lankara charchitaha uchissa bhojino dasas tava mayam jayemahi. Simply by decorating ourselves with garlands, fragrant oils, clothes, and ornaments that you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your meals, we as your servant will conquer over illusory energy. One should consider himself the object of vision or enjoyment for the prasad of the Lord or his devotee. To think oneself the seer and enjoyer will cause one to enter deeper within the kingdom of Maya. Brahmavam nirvikaram hi yata Vishnu sataiva tat. Vishnu Prasad is as transcendental and free from degrading transformation as is Vishnu himself. Everything about Srila Saraswati Thakur is to be understood in terms of this, Drig Drishya Vichar. Everything about Srila Saraswati Thakur, everything about Srila Prabhupada, everything about Srila Prabhupada's bona fide and faithful followers should be understood with this. Without understanding this, nothing can be understood. His Drig Drishya Vichar distinguishes him and all other authentic devotees from persons who possess faith in God, is motivated by personal intent. By this yardstick, which subsumes all flickers of truth found in other religious processes and reveals their insufficiency, whatever else is called sincerity is exposed as a mere shadow of unadulterated sincerity. Only those who have been blessed with this Drig Drishya Vichar by the genuine desire to attain it can begin to comprehend anything about the personality and teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Others will necessarily blame him for the faults they ascribe to him due to their own refracted vision. So we have to understand this. Like in reading this purport, Prabhupada is also speaking about so many verses actually speak about this Drig Drishya Vichar, and without understanding Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and their faithful followers, we would have never thought about this. You can see, unless the gross materialists develop a sense, there you go, of loving service under the Supreme Lord, the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds, he should remember on and meditate upon the universal form, etc. We will not be able to understand. We can see religions of this world. How many of them understand Drig Drishya Vichar? How many of them? How many of them even know what this is? How many of them even know who God is? That's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Pritivite yaha kichu dharma nama chale bhagavata prahitahan paripurna chale. That whatever goes on in this world in the name of dharma, religion, etc., is Pritivita Yaha Dharma Namacha Bhagavata Prahe Tahan, that the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Prahe Tahan, simply calls it and labels it as Paripurna Chale. That means complete wholesale cheating. Because it's cheating going on in the name of religion. If we don't understand this, if we think that Srila Prabhupada is an object of our sense gratification, if we don't understand the point that Krishna is the object of we are the objects of Krishna's enjoyment. Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. That's why Srila Prabhupada in this purport, he is quoting, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate beneficiary and enjoyer of all the worlds as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29. What's this verse 5.29? Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. So in this regard, Prabhupada in one lecture makes a really, really amazing point. So, he says that Krishna uses the word suhrit in this. Suhridam, suhrit. Right? So Krishna uses the word suhrit, and he doesn't use the other words in Sanskrit which are meant to signify a friend. Right? What are the other words meant to signify a friend? Mitra. Anything else? Bandhu, right? Bandhu and Mitra. Bandhu, Mitra, and Suhrit. These are three words describing a friend, right? But Krishna doesn't say, whatever, Mitraham Sarvabhutanam or Bandhunam Sarvabhutanam. No. Krishna says, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. Why does Krishna say that? Well, Prabhupada says in this lecture, he gave this in 1968 in Seattle, actually. I completely forgot Prabhupada was in Seattle, but anyway. In this lecture, Srila Prabhupada says that the reason Krishna uses the word Suhrit, because Mitra just means like a social friend. You have you go to a festival or a party and there's someone being nice and being everyone's friend. That's like a social friend. He's your friend only in that social circle and stuff like that. And Bandhu means an official friend. Official, Bandhu is like an official friend, kind of like allies or kind of like friends of the Brahmana. Mitra, nothing against you. Okay, that's what Prabhupada said in this lecture. So Bandhu, he's like an official friend. But Suhrit, Prabhupada says, Suhrit means someone who's a very, very sincere friend. I think I have that pulled up. Yeah, okay. Right, okay. I'm going to blow it up so everyone can see it. Okay, in a lecture, 1968 Bhagavad Gita. Is that visible? Yes, okay. Krishna is always our natural friend. That is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. Suhridam means suhrit. There are different names in Sanskrit for different kinds of friends. One friend is called Bandhu, one is called Mitra, and one is called Suhrit. So Krishna says, I am Suhrit, which means such a friend. A friend sincerely wants your happiness. A Suhrit is a real friend. Bandhu is official friendship. But Suhrit means one who actually desires good for his friend. Sincere friend. Krishna is Suhrit. He's always wishing my good. And he is therefore canvassing me. Please, you surrender unto me. Just like a father says, my dear boy, why are you acting independently? Foolishly you are suffering. Just surrender unto me. I shall give you protection. Similarly, Krishna is a friend like a father. He's always asking, and he is going with me in every type of body. Even if I get the body of a dog, Krishna is always there with me. Even with cats, dogs, hogs, or any lower type of animal, he has no hesitation. He is so friendly that wherever his friend is going, he's also going there. As Paramatma, he's doing friendly activities. He's sending his bona fide servant as spiritual master. He's coming as incarnations. He's coming as a devotee Lord Chaitanya. He's helping us in so many ways. But we are so foolish that we are not accepting him. Nobody can be a better friend than Krishna. But we are so much unfortunate, so much captivated by the external energy that we do not accept Krishna as our friend. Lecture October 14, 1968 in Seattle. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying this, and in this purport, Prabhupada is again hitting on this point. Krishna is a friend. Krishna is a seer. You see? But they do not know the formula of peace. That's why hey, wait, is this the same verse? Oh, sorry. I went to the wrong one. Yeah, in Prabhupada, that's why I also called this, I think he has an article called The Peace Formula, and in that he's quoting from this verse also. So we see over here, yes, Prabhupada is hitting on this point, that the Supreme Lord is a seer of all the words, both material and spiritual. He's a seer. In other words, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate beneficiary and enjoyer of all the words as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself also says, Aham hi sarvaya jnanam bhokta cha prabhure vacha natumam abhijananti tatvenatasya vantite. Then, Aham hi sarvaya jnanam, that I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Krishna says so many places that I am the enjoyer. which automatically implies that we are not the enjoyer, we are the enjoyed. But unless Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to explain this, how would we have known this? Who would have taught us these things? Who would have taught us these things? No one. That we understand the spiritual world is a manifestation of his internal potency, and the material world is a manifestation of the external potency. The living entities are also his marginal potency. So in these three statements, Prabhupada hits like 4 verses in the Bhagavad Gita, boom, boom, boom. No, 3 verses. What is that? Bhumirapo nalo vayu kamano buddhirevacha ahankara iti ame bhinna prakritirasada, which is explaining what the material world is, what all the elements are made of. Prabhupada is saying that. And then he's saying, the living entities are different from these things, so what's the verse for that? Apareyam etvaswanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhuta mahabaho edam dharyate jagat. And then he's talking about the spiritual world, right? Etat yonini bhutani sarvani upadharaya aham krishnasya jagata prabhavav pralayastata. And then in the next one, okay, let's see. Yeah, we're learning these verses, right? So we might as well know what they mean. So all created beings have their sources in these 2 natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So, Prabhupada, every sentence that Srila Prabhupada writes in his purports is actually a quote from Shastra. We have to understand this. Nothing Prabhupada said is whimsical. Because he's an Uttamadhikari, every single thing that Srila Prabhupada says is actually a quote from Shastra. Actually, in one sentence, it can mean that, we can derive so many verses from that. So Prabhupada is speaking about all these things here. The difference between the material and the spiritual energy, who we are, what are we doing, the Tatashta Shakti of the Supreme Lord. All these things are there. All these things are there. The living entity is marginal potency. This one thing we have to understand, that this material world is most certainly not a fit place for the living entities. Why? Just philosophically speaking, just understanding that we are eternal living entities in a temporary world. How can we find happiness in this material world? It's impossible. It's just not possible. It does not make any sense. But the more we think we're the enjoyers of this world, the more we actually act foolish. We act foolish. And so many religions of this world, so many scholars of this world, so many people of this world, they try to remove these kind of understandings. You see, the thing is, in many religions of the world, they say, God loves me. I love God. But who is God? What is He? What does He like to do? What does He like to eat? That they don't want to know. Because as long as they just keep the word God and throw it in a corner somewhere, then that by nature that means that they really don't not understand who God is. They do not know His name. They do not know how to relate to Him. So they can turn on God whenever they want. They can turn off God whenever they want. It doesn't work like that. But we go up to people and we tell them, we teach them the Bhagavad Gita and all these things. The scholars say, oh, that's just a Hindu belief. They just call it a Hindu belief, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam, that everyone in this world is suffering from birth, death, old age, and disease. Everyone has to go through this. They say, oh no, that's a Hindu belief. So if you don't believe in birth, death, old age, and disease, does it not affect you? Simply nonsense rascaldom, that's all. Krishna is speaking about, dehinosvanyata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. That's a Hindu belief. They simply say Hindu belief and try to think of everything else but this. Simply Hindu belief. How is this a Hindu belief? How is this a Hindu belief? Krishna is calling Arjuna a fool for saying all these kinds of things. Missing the point of the Shastra, missing all these points. Why? Because the living entities by nature want to skew up a philosophy of avoiding surrendering to Krishna. One of my favorite quotes of my spiritual master from one of his lectures is, Hinduism is a very elaborate Vedic excuse to avoid Krishna. Very elaborately, they give a very beautiful excuse, They, from the Shastra, they see, wow, so much benefit can come out of the Shastra. So they want to take up all the nice, the nice material benefits, but they want to leave surrender to Krishna out of it. They want to leave surrender to Krishna out of it. Why? Because the minute, and they want to make him formless. Because the minute they realize that Krishna is eternal, and everything related to Krishna is eternal, and that service to Krishna is eternal, and that we are not the seer, we are to be seen, then they have to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Then they have to mold their life in such a way that they are pleasing the Supreme Lord. But no, they want to avoid surrendering to Krishna. How can I avoid surrendering to the Supreme Lord? Therefore, come up with the philosophy, say that, God is, in the Upanishads it's saying that, Bhagavan Nirakara. I'm forgetting the exact Sanskrit at this point of time. But, it's saying that the Lord is formless. But in the same Upanishad, it's also saying the Lord has a form. So how do you understand it? Do you pick what you want and throw out what you don't want? No. The right understanding is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. But people don't understand it. People don't see it. They don't want to understand it. People don't want to understand it. They only want to cherry pick what they say. So what is the right form? Yes, the Supreme Lord does not have a material form, but he also has a transcendental form. It's right there in the Vedas. We understand it. What's so hard to understand? It's very easy to understand. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, so many things. Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashitam param bhavam ajanantu mama bhuta maheshwaram. That fools and rascals deride me when I descend in my form, considering it to be material, but when in reality it's actually transcendental. Krishna is saying this. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, avyaktam vyaktam apannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavam ajanantam mamavayam anuttamam. That I was, I was manifest before. I'm always manifest, and from me the unmanifest comes. Krishna is making it very, very clear. That everything in this material world, Krishna has a form. He always has a form. Then again he says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha mudhoyam nabijanati lokamam ajamavyam. That if you really want to be seen by Krishna, Krishna has to lift this curtain of Maya. But as long as we have this conception that we are the seer, that we want to see Krishna, we want to enjoy Krishna consciousness, we want to go to a Kirtan Mela and show off our tattoos and beards and all these things and make a big show and a big drama and enjoy the Kirtan, we are lost. We are destroyed. It's completely finished. Right then and there. That is why you're walking with the dustpan in the kitchen. Put it out. That's used to clean the room. So we understand that that this kirtan, all these things, the minute it's meant for its own sense gratification. The minute the kirtan, it's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. As spiritual master was saying, the offering hasn't gone up. So there's no offering. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to say this one real quick. I thought I'm going to run with this one. Okay, all right. Okay, anyway, I guess I won't. Okay, so I have to read the quotes also. So anyway, long story. We'll save it for the next time, I guess. So where is this? Prabhupada makes this really awesome point about book distribution. Okay, there you go. The Lord wants all his living entities of part and parcels to live with him in the transcendental world, for enlightening conditioned souls in the material world. All the Vedas and the revealed scriptures are there expressly to call the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. Okay, so that's the point. That when the Prabhupada Marathon, we want to go give people Srila Prabhupada's books so they can understand who is the seer and who is the seen. They can understand who is to be enjoyed and who is not to be enjoyed. Who is the enjoyed and who is the enjoyed. So we go give them these books. We give them the real thing. We let them understand that this material world is a miserable place full of material suffering and all these things, but they can go and they can join Krishna. They can meditate upon the transcendental form, the Supreme Lord, and this entire world will actually be happy and peaceful. This is the ultimate thing. This is the ultimate benefit that we could give. This is the best welfare movement. Book distribution is the only solution to all problems of life. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I'm going to read the quotes that Vishnachitra Prabhu has sent me. So are we still supposed to read the first paragraph and the next two ones? Because I think the things now are, we've gone past the Harinam and the pamphlet quotes, right? Okay. Talks. Okay. So reading from Sankirtan, it is the Sankirtan which is a life and soul. The quotes from Srila Prabhupada presented here are in chronological order to give a little feel for the evolution of Sankirtan and preaching in our Krishna consciousness movement. We can see how wonderfully Srila Prabhupada encouraged his devotees in their preaching efforts, going from the street chanting and free pamphlet distribution to book printing and distribution as our most important activity. And we are on this one? This one? Push on the literature distribution as far as possible. I look forward to seeing the Italian Sri Isha Upanishad. In France, they have now published. There is very good scope in Europe for the Sankirtan movement. If you just spread this chanting in Europe, then it becomes Vaikuntha. Side by side, push on this literature, push on the literature as far as possible. This should be done very vigorously. and you will have great success there. My Guru Maharaj was always very pleased, even when a small pamphlet was distributed. So thank you for assisting me in this mission to fulfill the order of my Guru Maharaj. Letter to Haya, November 21st, 1974. So we do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya means you distribute Bhagavatams every day, in case we didn't realize that. So please push on this Bhagavatam distribution, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Means regularly distributing Bhagavatam. So please regularly distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you have any questions, please read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10. The title of that chapter is Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Okay? Thank you all very much. Parivadatu jano yata tatavan anumukaro navayam na vicharayamaha. Harirasa madira madati mata bhuvi viluttamana tama nirvishamaha. Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripasundabhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Taking over the world with your Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution. Ki Jai.